One thing that we're not used to seeing is Spanish teams out at this stage in the Champions League. Only one of them have qualified for the knockout rounds this year. That's Real Madrid. Only Spanish side in the knockout stages of all of these four that went through. It's the first time this century that it's happened. You have to go all the way back to the 98-99 season when this last happened. They've had so much success in recent years when it comes to European competition. If you went into the final round now, as the tables stand, you'd see four Premier League sides going through. And the reason I tell you that is because after Barcelona's elimination, Xavi said, I really think that La Liga is at the same level as the Premier League.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on what he said there, Ale?
Well, I don't know how that's relevant to Barcelona's elimination from Champions League. Nor do I think it's a moment to be having these philosophical questions in terms of what league is better, La Liga, the Premier League. Look, I am not a protection agency for La Liga, nor am I a shield for La Liga. But what I would say is that I want to give some context and perspective to this conversation. 6 months ago, Villarreal, who was essentially a mid-table team, they were in the semifinals of Champions League. The winner of the Champions League was Real Madrid, also a La Liga team. So then, does that mean that if a mid-table team from La Liga is in semifinals of Champions League, does that mean that La Liga is the greatest ever in the history of ever? Well, no, probably not. So this is not a La Liga problem. This is a Barcelona problem. And this is a Atletico Madrid problem, and certainly a Sevilla problem. I'm not even going to talk about Sevilla because their struggles are well documented currently in La Liga. Barcelona did not make it out of the group stage last year. They haven't improved upon that this year. It's a Barcelona issue. And Atletico Madrid continues to struggle not only in Champions League this season, but against lower level opposition in La Liga. They struggle against everybody. Somehow they manage to win games, but it's never easy for them. So eventually these things are going to catch up to you. What I think this is a cautionary tale for all elite teams around Europe, all big-time teams that think that they're untouchable. If this can happen to Barcelona, it can happen to you. If this can happen to Atletico Madrid, it can happen to you if you don't make the correct decisions in terms of player personnel and if you're not able to plan for the future accordingly and to invest in a team in a manner in which it makes sense fiscally and it makes sense in terms of what the needs are on the field. So I would tell all the big teams out there, this could be you unless you take care of business on your end and you're able to run a team properly. Barcelona is now being punished for mistakes from the past. Atletico Madrid is now being punished for mistakes from the past. And now they're reaping the rewards, and the rewards are not what they like. It's a Barcelona problem, it's an Atletico Madrid problem, it's a Sevilla problem. It's not a La Liga problem.
Yesterday, Luis, you tweeted that this should be a wake-up call for Spanish football. Could you elaborate on what your thoughts are on this?
Yes, Kay, I think it's a thought that I have for quite a few years. Even though that, yes, Real Madrid has been winning the Champions League, we've been with Sevilla winning the Europa League for quite a few times, and Barcelona has been there, and Villarreal has been there. And so for my idea, I think the football is moving towards to a more physical, more aggressive, more it's faster, quicker in every single aspect of the game. And I think that as a Spanish academies, we've been forming for many years. We've been very popular around the world because technically and tactically we are very good. And I think that's something very important. But I like it when Luis Enrique start making that change of, we need to improve that. And we can touch the ball and we can keep the ball and we can have the possession, but start speeding up with the players, working on players to become faster and stronger. Because what I've seen lately, for the Spanish team is when we play against physical teams, they are like we've seen Barcelona yesterday. I mean, the players who make the difference were Sadio Mane, was Alphonso Davies in the right side, Goretzka, players who are physically very strong, very quick, very aggressive, and those make the difference. Of course, speed makes the difference on these days, and there are not as many players here in Spain that we can make that difference. So my thoughts on that is because we've been working there, and maybe it's time to start working also at the same time yes, tactically, yes, with the ability and the players that we have from our academies, but also working a lot more on that, because I can see that lack is we are facing it when we play at the highest level. And it's something that I thought quite a few years back, we mentioned in one of the conferences, but I'm still missing that part. And definitely after seeing 3 of our teams going and the way that they've been going out, I think it's a good idea to think about it.
No, I agree exactly with what Luis Garcia is saying here, in the sense that it's not that you can't pass the ball as you once did. It's the fact that you're now having to outrun teams and you can't quite do it. And an image that sticks in my mind in terms of the difference of what's going on around the world and the game around the world is Kylian Mbappe running past Gerard Piqué, and Gerard Piqué doing this, kind of hanging on to the back of his jersey. That's happening because the speed of the game and the physicality of players now that are moving at a quicker pace is leaving Spanish teams behind. And until they're able to compete physically first, then they're not going to be able to maintain the sort of level of play or the sort of level of results that they would want.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.